For more on the former U.S. president's expanding court battles, have now been joined from Texas by an international affairs analyst, Boye Akinokun. Thank you for joining us on The World Now. This is the fourth indictment of Donald Trump in months. How do you react to this latest case?
Yes, good morning and good afternoon, Nigeria. Yes, it's a long list of indictments of the former President Trump. This is the first time we're saying that happened to a former president, and it's indeed interesting times to see how all of this plays out before elections coming up next year. Seeing that former President Trump is also contesting and is one of the leading aspirants from the Republican Party. Sorry.
Indeed, and in the midst of all of this, Mr. Trump appears to still be leading the Republican nomination list.
Yes, he indeed is still leading, and that is part of the interesting part that we're seeing. He has a movement that's sweeping through the United States, and it looks like his supporters are not deterred so far by the indictment that we're seeing. In fact, it looks like he's getting more popular with his supporters.
What do you think is driving this popularity? Does it mean, his supporters and majority of Americans this time now are not in sync? They're unhappy with the Democratic Party that's in power?
Former President Trump has proven to be politically smart, and he speaks the right language. He speaks what they want to hear, and it's working with his supporters. They are not looking at every other thing. I don't think it's as much as that they are not happy with the Democrats and all that. They are just in sync with his rhetorics, and they just like it and they just flow with it. They are not listening to every other thing around the reality and all that. It's almost kind of secondary to a certain group of people. But yeah, that's a fact right now.
So it does look like Mr. Trump is coming out of this maybe stronger than his chances were even before the charges came in.
We cannot categorically state that, but just from all the indications, if it was a regular politician, you'd have expected by now that probably his numbers would have been going down. Actually, a regular politician in America probably would have said, "Oh, I'm no longer interested." But Mr. Trump has proven to be a different type, and he's still forging on. So the numbers are still encouraging for him.
In all of this, it's not only Mr. Trump that's in the news. His son also is in the news. And, they're concerned if this could just be some kind of demoralizing situation for the family that plans to lead the American people again.
Yes, you're correct, because it's a big thing for a former president, a contestant, to be going through all of that at the same time while an election is coming. It's going to be distracting. There are 4 different cases going on in 4 different jurisdictions. You cannot mix all of that with campaign, generally just looking at the moral right to speak after having this number of counts against you in different jurisdictions. So it's a big challenge, and it's probably going to prove to be a big test of the American judicial and political system.
And in the past, Africa just used to be in the news for playing the dirty politics. But in this as it is now, we're hearing a lot from the U.S., and there just happens to be a lot of dirty politics happening and politics of desperation. As elections approach, do you think there would actually be fair voting, or will the desperation be so obvious in the voting patterns of Americans?
The American political system has been heating up for a while, and it looks like it has just gotten to that tipping point, and the outcome of the court cases, the political maneuvering, and everything would most likely go a long way in determining what comes of democracy in the entire world. Because if it fails here in the United States, then what moral rights, what can be said about democracy? So I believe the American system is standing up. We'll see if they're able to stand up to the test fully at the end of the day. But it's going to have a wide impact on the world as a whole.
Indeed, the world is watching what happens in America, especially as the elections approach. Thank you so much for talking to us, international affairs analyst Boye Akinokun. Thank you for joining us on The World Now.
Thank you for having me.